Bendigo is 150 kilometres northwest of Melbourne, and gold was discovered here in 1851, which would explain some of the fantastic buildings that were built around that time, including Australia's largest regional cathedral. Today, it's a bustling regional hub with its ornate architecture, a thriving art scene, innovative industry and a vibrant property market. We spoke to some local agents about recent real estate trends. Martin, tell us about the Bendigo real estate situation at the moment. How's it travelling?
We're going along reasonably well. Just probably over the last 6 months things have been a little bit slower than we'd like to see them. But overall, the market's travelling along reasonably well. Bendigo's
one of those places always written up when rural real estate or regional areas are discussed as a bit of a hot spot and a very strong market.
It's been a very large growth area. We're only about an hour and a half from Melbourne these days. So yes, it's an area that's going ahead, and I think we're still a sleeping giant, really.
There's a lot of upside?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the properties are very similar to what you'd find around the outer suburban Melbourne areas. We've got the whole cross-section of real estate in Bendigo, from CBD right through to the outer suburbs, as you experience in Melbourne, but just in a much more consolidated area.
And obviously a fairly strong industry base here to support employment?
We have got a very good industry base. We've got manufacturing, we've also got a very big service industry, and it's a very vibrant city.
What are people getting for their money then? What will they spend to get a decent family home in Bendigo?
Well, people in Melbourne will be very surprised with what can be purchased in Bendigo for very reasonable prices. For around $300,000, for instance, you can still buy a very nice, modern, comfortable, 3-bedroom brick veneer home in a nice area where families would be very, very happy to locate. There's also still a possibility of buying a very sound weatherboard home in sought-after areas for anywhere between 200 and say 280,000. So yeah, there's some great opportunities particularly for first home buyers who are wanting to get into the residential market and are prepared to do a little bit of travel.
And what about the top end of the market? What are we talking there?
Top end of the market, that's the area of the market that's been more difficult during the first half of this year. There's plenty of opportunities there. There's opportunities to purchase properties between $400,000 and up to $1 million, or around $1 million. Some beautiful homes available in beautiful areas of Bendigo, and properties that you would probably pay $2 and $3 million for in Melbourne.
Noel, Bendigo, one of the strong regional centres, real estate-wise. When people come up from Melbourne looking for a lifestyle change, what are some of the areas they're looking at?
Well, there's quite a lot of people moving up from Melbourne for a number of reasons. All areas are popular, are sought after. There are opportunities wherever you go around the city, different suburbs. I think one good thing about people coming up from Melbourne into this market is they don't bring any baggage, they don't come up with any prejudices about particular areas. And so some of the areas that traditionally perhaps have been a bit slower than others have in recent years increased and become quite strong growth in values and turnover of properties. Areas, long well-established areas such as Eagle Hawk has done very well over recent years. Kangaroo Flat's another area that's seen a lot of new housing growth. There's recently been a big subdivision approved, about 800 lots, 700, 800 lots out at Huntley, which the council is focusing on for residential development. So there's a lot of movement around the town.
Is there much apartment living in Bendigo?
Look, there's a little bit of redevelopment of older buildings, but there is some development going on. There's also quite a significant development of the old orphanage, which is not far from here actually, in the Kennington suburb, where the old buildings are being refurbished into apartments. But we're really still very much not quite a quarter acre block these days, but the standalone semi or a detached home. Yep.
And what are the I guess the older suburbs? What are the oldest ones here offering, I guess, those large sort of double-fronted period homes?
Quarry Hill would be probably the most obvious suburb, but in a Bendigo, there are areas that really don't fall into suburbs. A lot of those homes are actually in the Bendigo, what we traditionally call Bendigo itself. Quarry Hill is right on the fringe of town, where there are a lot of those types of homes.
And what sort of money are people paying to get in there?
Varies. Probably $1 million would cover most of it. There might be one or two that would go over that mark. They're fairly strongly held though, and so you don't see a lot of them come on the market, but certainly in the range of $500,000 to $1 million is not out of court.
Is there a strong rental market?
Traditionally very strong rental market. Properties, you could say, are as scarce as hen's teeth, trying to find residential properties, and that goes right across the spectrum of values.
The smaller homes to the large ones?
Yeah, all very hard to get.